Authority, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair, and all protocols observed. Joseph Mutasara, representing the Secretary Authority, who is not in the country. But as National Drug Authority, during the election period, we are very prepared. We have a team that will be able to allow the importation and exportation of the pharmaceutical products, including the distribution of the pharmaceutical products across the country. We have teams on ground. We have prepared the logistical requirements, and our enforcement team is also on ground to ensure that wrongdoers do not take advantage of this period to steal government drugs, to cause any abuse of the good pharmaceutical distribution chain that this government has put in place. The local industry has been ably engaged. We've been able to speak to the local industry to take care of the already established pharmaceutical plants that we have now that have progressed to 68, with 13 under construction. The last meeting when we were there, we gave statistics of 63, now they are 68, and 13 are under construction. So they have all been engaged to ensure that they have deployed adequately, and they are all supportive of this process. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, NDA, for the update. Is UEPCL ready? If they are not ready, I will very briefly update us now environment. Environment hasn't spoken. So I just 1 minute on the environment, and then we'll go into questions. As we head towards voting, I want to thank all Ugandans for keeping a clean and healthy environment. Largely, littering has not been so much as it used to be, and I want to thank all the stakeholders participating in the election for prioritizing a clean and healthy environment. And as we go to the vote, I want again call upon Ugandans to maintain that spirit. As we know, a clean environment is a foundation for a healthy population and for productivity. In terms of performance, Uganda in 2025 is ranked first in Africa and third in the world in wetlands protection. As you are aware, we are protecting 13.9% of our land surface as wetlands, and the average for Africa is just 3%. So the country is doing excellently well compared to its peers globally and regionally. In terms of wildlife populations, most of all of them, as Juliana said, have all come up. I want to give you just one statistic which shows how far we've come of the national antelope, Uganda kobe. In 1995, Uganda kobe population was just 30,000. In 2025, we have 146,250. And in 1962, at independence, we had 70,000. So we have tripled the population of Uganda cobs that we had at independence to now. This is despite the population which has grown multiple times. So that tells you that the country is peaceful and is moving. The forest cover loss has been reversed from 90% in 2015 to now 13% in 2025, and for the first time, the forest cover gradient is on a positive trajectory. It's no longer on a decline. We've automated all business services at NEMA, so you can apply for your environment and social impact assessment, submit your environment audit annually online without the need to walk to NEMA. Air quality has also improved. This is important for elections. We've improved our air quality from 35 micrograms per cubic meter in 2019 to 13 micrograms per cubic meter in 2025, and this is classified by World Health Organization as good. The current average for Africa is 44 micrograms per cubic meter, with the highest being 80 micrograms per cubic meter. What that means is that Uganda is among the countries with the best air quality in Africa and the world. The ultimate better air quality is 5 micrograms per cubic meter, but no country in the world has attained this. No country, 0 country in the world. All of us are aspiring to move there. And we are 13, so to us, this is very, very good progress. And part of the things that really worsen our air quality are the things which we do unknowingly. For example, burning of tires on roads can exacerbate the air quality of a country. And once the air quality of a country is bad, our health is in jeopardy. Because if you burn one tire, you release emissions equivalent to 12 trucks moving on diesel. Just one tire. You release particulate matter, which goes deep into our lungs. You release black carbon, which is a powerful climate pollutant. You release carbon monoxide, which reduces oxygen in the blood. You release sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. You release volatile organic compounds, dioxins and furans, which are very toxic chemicals known on Earth. And as a result, you may get acute respiratory distress, asthma attacks, eye, skin and throat infection, headaches, dizziness and nausea, increased risk of cancer, heart disease and chronic lung disease. This is too dangerous for our children, pregnant women, elderly, and the general population. And to remind you that we have a law that prevents pollution, and I want to call upon all citizens to avoid being caught up on the wrong side of the law. To burn a tire is a criminal offense against pollution, and the penalties go to 15 years jail sentence under National Environment Act, Cap 181. So do not attempt to destroy our environment because the law is there. And so far we've been moving very well. I want to thank Ugandans for being peaceful, and let's continue on that note by keeping our environment clean and healthy. We shall break off for questions if UEDCL is not live. Okay, so we can now take questions. Feel free to ask anybody from these people who have talked to you. Your name and then the media house and your question. I see a hand here. Can we start with you? Kindly address the question to the person you want so that they know. To me?
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Chair, for moderating this gathering. Actually, I don't know whether I did it intentionally, but there is some essential department missing here. Why? That's UCC. And you see, since 2021, 5 years down the road, a lot has changed. Many things have gone digital. Why am I raising UCC? When UCC, according to the history of this country, when UCC is shutting down the internet, it shuts down everything. We are seeing hospitals, we are seeing government agencies. URSG has just said that it will close, but it will remain online. Now, if UCC switches off everything, how will somebody access that? Banks are using internet. How will we access such services? And I don't know whether you did it intentionally to keep UCC here.
No, we have the representative of broadcasters who has been engaged with UCC. UCC should have been here, but the CEO is up country, so it's not deliberate, but the sector is well represented. But just to clarify you, UCC has made it very clear that they have not communicated anything to do with the shutting off or shutting down the internet. They have not said so. Please take that as a rumor. Let's not discuss rumors kindly.
It's not a rumor. But my point is, if they are to do so, can they regulate?
No, they have not said they will do so to begin with. So let's not start from the negative. If they had said they would do so, we would discuss it. But they have not said so.
Chair.
Yes, Simon.
May I?
Yeah, sure. You can use that mic to answer your question. There is a mic there.
Come to your seat. Come to your seat. Back.
Maybe you want to comment on that also? Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, you didn't say what media house? Cruise. Okay. All of us here, who wants the internet to be shut down? Put up your hand. No, who wants? I'm asking. No one. And I'm not going to respond for UCC, because I'm not UCC. But I'm a Ugandan who wants the internet to keep running. The message that UCC delivered, together with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, is one that we are also interested in. There are three members of the private sector here. This one, myself, and Mr. Kazuki. We do not want the internet to be shut down. That's why we said, please, let us ensure we avoid the things that would cause the government to shut down the internet. That's why we have said we avoid fake news. We avoid fake news. None of you here engages in fake news. You are all the professional media houses that exist in this country, right? But you receive fake news. And your job is to filter it out and only report what is true and what is accurate. Two, we need to avoid sensationalizing any situation during this period. Because during this specific period, as you all know, you're journalists, tensions are high. The concerns are much higher than usual. And these concerns are national security concerns and economic concerns. And that is why the media, yourselves, are being called upon to play the role you're supposed to play. The role you're supposed to play is the one that controls what people out there are seeing, thinking, and doing. If anybody comes to you to try to incite the general public in a certain direction, you yourself, you know whether it's correct or wrong. So it is you to gatekeep. And I'm sure all of you who went to journalism school know what gatekeeping is. If you receive a deceptive message, filter it out for the good of this country. It's as simple as that. Because indeed, if the government finds that there's a concern that needs the internet to be shut down, the government will do so. And none of us wants it. So please, let's take our position. This is the power of the media. You have the power. So please, be the ones to run that decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Let's have, I know the broadcasters have been engaging UCC on this subject. Let's have Queen clarify. They have discussed this extensively.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's a couple of things to pick from this. The most important being where the Chair started. There has been no official communication that internet is being shut down. So if on your bulletin or in any of the shows at Cruise FM, you're raising this as a concern and creating any sort of alarm, what that does is then create a problem already where the perception already is that, oh, they are going to shut down the internet. And as broadcasters, we must be very careful, and I think Simon touched on this as well, about being factual and accurate. Now, using precedent is one thing where there have been incidents, but again, and I think my concern, this would be personal from me to you, is that if you approach this with that kind of posture, chances are that it's going to seep through even in your reporting. And then it creates a public perception problem. I think, again, for me, going back to the glass quarter full angle, let's try and be positive until something different happens. Over the last 2 days, and again, this is now me speaking as Ben, not as NAB, not as Next Media, not on behalf of UCC. Over the last couple of days, I have been engaged in a number of fights online in a bunch of WhatsApp groups with people who have seen it fit to keep sharing all manner of videos of either people saying, prepare your pangas, get some petrol, this is how you put petrol in a bottle. If you do that, and we had a situation yesterday, we hosted a panel of people from the military, from the police, from the prisons, from the army, to talk about them giving assurance to the public that Ugandans are going to be safe. And they had asked that we play 2 of those videos. I'm sure you've seen, you know the videos I'm talking about, where people are saying, you know, it's what we're going to do. And our editorial policy doesn't allow us to even give that any attention, because that basically becomes, at some level, a certain form of mobilization. And I think the important thing here to note for me, outside of UCC, would be for us as journalists. If I get that video where a guy is saying, let's ban the tires, and the chair has told me that each tire you ban is going to release enough pollution to kill your grandfather, why would I then run that video, right? The minimum broadcasting standards that have been given by UCC are very clear. And again, I will reiterate now, officially, on the record on behalf of NAB. We believe in adhering by guidelines that are given to us by law. If UCC has sent out a directive, which I'm sure we have all received and seen, and you break that even by 3%, like someone is saying, what you're doing is then giving them the ammunition to say, what was posted was outside of the directive, therefore, we have no option but to shut this thing down, and then everyone else suffers. I think our obligation as media is to try and de-escalate the situation. We are not supposed to have sides. Okay? You might be wearing red, yellow, blue, whatever, but when you hold that camera, you're not supposed to have a side. And your job at that point then becomes to be able to tell people, guys, moka kane. Okay? How do you, in your position, try to bring the situation down? I'll finish by giving you one very good example. And I've been accused of fear-mongering, so I don't want to seem that way. But allow me to take you back to 2007. Basing on what I can see in the room, most of you guys, what class were you in 2007? What? You are still a spunk. So as a joking, don't take offense. In 2007, I've had the privilege of seeing every election in this country from 96 to now. In 2007, we had a situation in Kenya where if you go and read anything about it, you realize where Kenya caught fire. And a big chunk of that fire was caused because the media, for the longest time, chose to first step aside and let people do whatever they were getting. Emotions got high to the point where Kenya came to a standstill. And the only way, and you can go and check this, it's on record, the only way Kenya was able to find some stability again was when the media in Kenya, Nation Media, Citizen Group, Wananchi, all of them, Standard Group, they came together and said, us as media, we are joining forces and telling Kenyans, please, tukakane, nyamaza, calm down. Let's not ban our own country, regardless of how we feel. My prayer and hope is that for us who are here and for every other journalist who has access to any sort of platform, our posture by default, regardless of what your affiliation is, should be to be saying to Ugandan, guys, no matter what, let us try and stay calm. Because if we do that, we avoid a lot more problems, and I believe it allows us to be able to be in a position where UCC doesn't feel the need to cut off the internet. I hope that gives some context. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take another round of questions. One there. Those who want to ask, yeah. Let's take these 1, 2, 3. Let's first take these 3, and then we take that from there. Yes. Your name and your house, very briefly.
Thank you so much. My name is Chibombi Anes Benjamin. I'm a media owner from HICGI News Agency. And HICGI News Agency, I would like to commend the government so much, especially the State House Investors Protection Unit, led by Colonel Edith Nakalima, for organizing such a colorful and most crucial meeting ahead of our elections. I would like to request, if possible, that the government also adds in editors. Most of us here, if not all of us, are reporters. But there are some crucial levels where decisions are made. You've seen earlier, a strong media house around the world is being sued by head of state because the information that it broadcast was making America go on fire. So the bosses had to do what? To step down. So what I'm saying is, let us engage the editors and the media owners also at this crucial time, such that they can be part of the conversation now, during, and after elections. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ernest, for the advice, which is a very valid one. Thank you for that advice. It is very well taken.
Thank you so much, Protocol Officer. William Brown, my name, from Tech Media. We are one of the leading digital platforms in this country. We set templates and others.
Let's have order.
I'm asking Kamala Karema, the brain behind State House Investors Protection Unit. How far have you engaged the security forces? Because on many occasions we have seen the media become a victim during elections. Thank you so much.
My bosses in security last evening briefed the media on NBS in collaboration with
BBC and other
broadcasters that they are very ready. We are very ready in security to protect every citizen, every human being, and everything that has life. And even anything that doesn't have life but deserves to live, we will protect. So the State House Investors Protection Unit, our mandate is to ensure that everyone adding value to this nation is given every attention and is given protection through collaborative efforts, including mobilizing you, the media fraternity, because you are the platform that dispenses information. And we continue to appeal to you to be good ambassadors of spreading the good news of protecting our motherland and everything it needs and adds value. I thank you.
Next.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. My name is Eli Josh Kawasa. I'm from Daspai, Uganda. And my question is quite simple. We see media platforms here being regulated. How are you going also to regulate the international media platforms? Because they spread a lot of bad propaganda about Uganda. Their propaganda, it affects trade, it affects tourism, it affects everyone. How are we going to be defended against false propaganda from those international media platforms? Thank you so much.
I'm happy to answer that.
Okay, the broadcaster will be able to answer this on behalf of the regulator.
It's a very simple answer to this question. If the international media house is portray and project Uganda in a very negative light, and an investor goes on the internet to try and find some information, and when they Google, they find a story from The Spy, or from Cruise FM, or from big media that agrees with what the international media is saying, what does that investor then decide to do? We must be aware. Again, this is something that I was having a chat with Mr. Vajevuga from URSB earlier on before we started this session. that we must understand that as a country, Uganda is in such a unique position. We are blessed. There are a lot of interests externally that have an interest in this country. They don't care about you. You know that Michael Jackson song? All I really want to say is that they don't really care about you. And Simon said this and Alan said this. We must be interested as Ugandans in protecting our country. And that sometimes means that sacrificially, right, we must be looking out for what do we do to protect Uganda. If you go to the US, I'll give you a very basic example. In the US they fight. Democrats, Republicans, everything, they fight. But if you come from the outside and say anything bad about them, they will first put their guns down, fold their sleeves, and tag him and beat you up. Why can't we do that as a country? Why can't we say that for us as Uganda, let us first fix our things here, right? We said that as Uganda, we believe in our country. If a Mzungu is coming to try and do some other things, we said, no. The challenge at the moment, Chair and ladies and gentlemen, is that unfortunately, we are being more negative about Uganda than the Western media. So if we are doing that, how can you blame them for them doing exactly the same thing? We must, again, position ourselves, especially as media, to be positive about this country. I'll give you one very quick example and then I'll shut up. When we had an incident in the National Park 2 years ago where a tourist was shot with his fiancée, a lot of people quickly came out and said, oh, terror attack. What we did at the time, I remember, at Next Media was to say, we cannot try and project Uganda in a bad light because of one incident. And what we did, what our group CEO did, was then deploy, and the following day we had a team in the national park showing that tourists were still entering the national park and saying Uganda is open for visitors. Please don't be alarmed by anything else that you say. If all of us in this room had done that, that incident would never have gotten any attention. But unfortunately, many people are then saying, oh, terror attack in national park, terror attack in national park. Because we want likes, maybe, but does it do you any good? Because like Juliana said, eventually, the effect will be felt by all of us because of what money then doesn't come into this country. So let's be very careful to make sure that we are projecting Uganda in a positive light. It is our responsibility, it is our obligation as citizens first, before anything else.
Thank you, Ben. So you have actually something to do about it. Put alternative facts, and then they will compete with the false facts. But if the false facts are unchallenged, they don't have corresponding facts from those who are inside, it will definitely be taken as gospel. Yeah. Let's have the lady behind. We haven't heard from a lady. Let's have a lady. Okay, the lady and then you. Sorry. You have the microphone already, fine. You proceed and then hand over to the lady.
All right, then. A very great evening to each and every one of us here. My name is Ruanga Derek from Hope TV. Now, my question goes to Alan, then Kaheru and Ben. You've talked about us being behaving well in this situation that we're in as a country. But you've not talked about the security agencies. You've talked so much about us and what we're supposed to do. And most of us know what we are supposed to do. But most of the times we are provoked by the security agencies. Not us, actually. It is the security agencies that force us to run mad many times. And no one has warned them, no one has thrown a stone to them, apart from the message that I've heard from Makano Nakarima, talking about them again telling us what to do. We know what we're supposed to do, but maybe for them, they do not know how to handle us. Kindly answer that.
Okay, Simon and Alan. There is a mic here. There is a mic right there.
Mr. Ruanga from Hope TV. Yes, thank you very much. Very interesting question. So why have I not told the security agencies what to do here at this media engagement? I am here to speak to the media. How many security people are here? By show of hands.